Hello again. Hope you are all feeling the benefits of this incredible cuisine, which has been delicious and wonderful. You know, we were thinking that over the years, not only have the Gaudium Awards been an opportunity to honor many deserving people, but we would like to acknowledge that it's our beneficiaries that have really been our true focus. And as a particular example, we wanted to remind you that over the years, as of tonight, Nazareth Housing will have received bequests of over $500,000 through the generosity. And of course, I'm in broadcasting, so the line is always, and that's not all. And cumulative grants through the years have also, thousands of dollars have benefited organizations such as Theater for a New Audience, Brooklyn Academy of Music, the Campaign Against Hunger, the Brooklyn Youth Chorus, inner city schools through the Brooklyn Institute Scholarship Fund, Homeboy Industries, and local ecclesial physical restorations. And again, it's the generosity of people, of you and other people like you who have made these works possible. So if you're watching at home and seeing this online, it's again my reminder to go to that button on the Brooklyn webpage and you can make a contribution. Or I also don't think this was in the written script, but I think that I might have saved this for later, but on the table there are little cards for those of you who want to express even more generosity than you already have. Anyway, but it's been a wonderful evening so far, and now it's one of my favorite parts of the evening because I really do have the honor to present a gentleman without whom there would certainly be no Gaudium Awards, and we would not be here tonight. I'm talking about the president of the Breukelein Institute, Father Dennis Corrado. Smile, smile, smile. What is it I have to tell him to smile, smile, smile.
Thank you, whoever that is. Well, isn't this nice, huh? Such troubled times to have such wonderful things happen. If you're here, I see so many familiar faces of people who have been here before. If you've not been here before, our custom is not for me to make speeches about the honorees, but to seek letters of tribute or commentaries or videos that express why it is they were selected to receive this award. And if you look at your program, you'll see the hundreds of remarkable people that have been recipients of this award. One of the greatest thrills of my life is having met and spent time with that extraordinary list of honorees. And so we'll begin with Karen Akers. You can finish your dessert. I have a few minutes. If you've never seen Karen perform, you're missing on something. And so as a way to introduce the person I asked to write a remark, here is 4 minutes of Karen Akers singing. Joni Mitchell, by the way.
Rows and flows of angel hair, ice cream castles in the air, and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun they rain, they snow on everyone. So many things I would have done. Clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel when every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let 'em know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears, feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. Something's lost, but something's gained.
Wow. So this letter of tribute is handwritten, and the person who wrote it wanted to make sure that I presented it to you, Karen, directly. I'm going to give her and you a little bit of a clue by saying it's probably from the tallest performer you've ever seen. You know, don't you? To describe the magic of Karen Akers' cabaret performance needs more than letters, more than the English alphabet provides. So I'll just limit myself to 10 letters that comprise her professional name. Here goes. Okay. It is spelled K-A-R-E-N-A-K-E-R-S. 10 letters that mean the world to me. K is for kaleidoscopic, one glass of wine, which refers to the variegated colors that float in the air as she sings her emotional storied song. Shades of deep purple, magenta, emerald green, dusty rose, and midnight blue are just a few of that come to mind. A is for artistry, which begins as she enters the room. She quietly evokes a world of intelligence, sensitivity, and unflagging taste that is mesmerizing. We witness a masterpiece that being created could easily be a Rothko or a loan from MoMA. R is for repertoire, which is always a sublime and wide-ranging collection of beautiful music. With each choice, she emits a higher reality, like one soul talking to another. E is for enchantment, an all-encompassing enchantment. N is for narrative, because each song holds its own place in this overarching autobiography. Okay, that spells Karen. And now for Akers. A stands for actress. She does more than most good actresses do. Karen absolutely inhabits the role. K stands for killer bones that come together to create that fabulous Helen of Troy face. When the lights fall on that sculpturesque mass of beautiful shapes, it's a challenge for us to get past them, to concentrate on our unique and haunting voice. But trust me, it's worth the struggle. Her voice is like no other. E is for exquisite, extraordinary, entertaining. R is for rehearsal. No performer of her caliber exists without it. Hours and hours of it. What you see on stage is only the tip of the iceberg. S is simply sensational, singer of songs. In our world of cabaret, she stands alone as a phenomenon. The French have one word for her, chanteuse. Or as she mentioned to me earlier, an Australian called it chantoozy. I have two words for her, he writes, Karen Akers. These two words mean the world to me. And it's signed Tommy Toon. Karen. The Breukelein Institute is proud to present its first 2023 awards to Karen Akers. I hope you'll say a few words.
Oh, goodness, I may as well die now and go to heaven. That was Tommy Tune, and it was, oh, goodness, he even illustrated
Yes,
it.
it is. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Dennis alluded to the fact that these are very difficult times, and in preparation for a show I'm doing in 2 weeks also at that place, Birdland.
Give the dates. Give the dates.
Oh, November 20th, Monday, November 20th, 7 o'clock, if anyone's interested. I was looking for a way to do this with all the joy that this involves for me, the singing. And it's so out of sync with the rest of the world. And I came across a while back some writing by a Middle Eastern poet, Lawrence Joseph. And he was asked, why does he write poetry in times like ours? And this was his answer. He said, the mystery of love is greater than the mystery of evil. And while writing a poem may not prevent the taking of life, it is in itself an act of resistance. For me, singing is the same. It's an act of hope. It's an act of resistance. So there you have it. That's why I'm a singer. And thank you very, very much for this award.
You're very welcome. She wasn't kidding. Tommy actually, I'll show it to you if I can, hand wrote this as a kind, it's sort of like a long haiku. We'll have to edit out all of those silly noises. So Karen, I'll give you this before the end of the night. Well, I'd like to talk about a remarkable woman that you heard earlier speak in English and in Hebrew. Carrie, in trying to decide how to present Carrie Brody from the point of view of other more famous chefs, I actually did talk to a couple who know her work and have contributed to Emma's Torch. And then I thought, let the folks see a bit of Carrie in her day-to-day life, and also the people that she has been helping. The words that you will hear are from Emma Lazarus, as you well know, is the poet who sits at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. So this is a bit of Carrie Brody and why she's receiving this award.
A lot of folks are migrating for a number of different reasons. The vast majority of them, if not all, are fleeing for safety and refuge. We're seeing a lot of violence that is making people leave, because no one wants to leave if they feel safe at their home. Why would you want to leave your home, right? That makes no sense. And workforce development and workforce training is even more important than it ever has been before.
Street Northeast, then slight right onto Rhode Island Avenue Northeast.
I was born in the U.S. My parents immigrated here in the 80s, and then my grandparents joined them shortly thereafter. All of my family is descendant from people who fled from Lithuania during World War II. My great-grandparents were fortunate enough to be able to come to South Africa, and their families were all killed during the war. So it's a very complicated history and relationship with Lithuania, and also I think, for me at least, it very much drives the work that we do, that if we can force neighbors to see each other as neighbors and not as strangers, then we can restore humanity. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land.
Ось, в омитій водами, в брамі заходу сонця, могутня жінка тримає факел.
Repleta de relámpago y se va a llamar Madre de los Exiliados. Desde su mano iluminada brilla la bienvenida de todo el mundo.
Її лагідні очі охоплюють повітряний міст над двома частинами міста. Залиште свої землі, вашу пихатість, голосить вона мовчазними вустами.
تعالوا أيها المتعبون والفقراء والجموع الحاشدة الطواقة إلى استنشاق الحرية.
Mzahab refuse au village surpeuplé. Envoie-les-moi.
Les déshéritiers, que la tempête me les rapporte. De ma flamme, j'éclaire la porte d'or.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Brody. Blue collar. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure, thank you.
I have something to give you after.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this incredible honor and for the opportunity to share our work. So much of what you shared resonates deeply in these really troubling and painful times. I've been thinking a lot about the idea of what does it mean to raise a torch? What does it mean to be written in the words that uplift this moment? And I think in this room, there's so many people who in their day-to-day interactions and in their reminders and in their ways of living the value of shared humanity are hopefully that antidote to these particularly difficult times. So thank you so much for this honor and for supporting us. I'm truly grateful.
You're very welcome. Just stay with me for a minute.
Okay.
Emma's torch was not listed as one of our beneficiaries, but it was the intention of the board to include her in receiving a grant. And so on behalf of the board and you who made this grant possible, I'm pleased to present you with $10,000.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is incredible. Thank you.
We've honored institutions before. One of the first of these awards of merit went to a firm that Richard Carlson was a co-partner with, and we honored him for the extraordinary work that he did. And curiously enough, Richard, it just occurred to me when we were watching that clip that your firm restored the torch on the Statue of Liberty, didn't it? Yeah. So interconnections. Truly an award of merit, huh? Well, it's hard in a way to get a letter of tribute for a print magazine. Some of you are sitting on top of Commonweal, by the way. I hope that you'll take the copies of the magazine home. It's an important thing to support. But I asked someone that you know to write to Dominic, the editor of the magazine, and his Commonweal colleagues. How wonderful that you've received the Breukelein Institute's Gaudium Award of Merit in such distinguished company. As you know better than anyone else, Commonweal's history is extraordinary. Founded almost 100 years ago and continuously publishing, lay-edited, and a vital force on matters of Catholicism, the world of ideas and politics. And its future will be extraordinary too. I'm proud to be associated with the enterprise and thrilled that you receive this much-deserved recognition. John T. McGreevy, Provost of Notre Dame University. We have to pose for the stays. Now you take the award. I'll shake the hand. But you take the award. We decided that a professional photographer was too expensive when we wanted to use the money. Truly, we decided the poor people should get the money instead of us getting our picture taken.
So actually, Dennis did refer to us as a print magazine, although I should say we do have a website.
You do.
But befitting a print magazine, I've printed remarks, which will not take long. I can't express how honored all of us at Commonweal are to be recognized with the Breukelein Institute's Gaudium Award of Merit. I think, or more appropriate to the occasion, how overjoyed, especially given the others here tonight also being recognized, Karen Akers and Kerry Brody, Aaron Deal, and Father Columba Stewart. It's just really illustrious company, and we can't be more honored to be listed among them. Your recognition of Commonweal is a testament to the work that everyone on our staff does to keep the magazine going strong, as well as to the support and guidance of our board of directors as we approach our 100th anniversary of continuous publication in 2024. We have just 13 full-time employees, and we're often commended for punching above our weight as we continue in our Catholic uppercase and Catholic lowercase identity, speaking out on issues in the world and in the church on matters of politics, religion, and culture. On behalf of everyone, I want to thank Father Dennis Corrado and Brother Jim Simon, and of course the Institute as a whole, not just for honoring us, but for the amazing work you do in supporting programs that would affirm, improve, and reform the quality of life in the city of New York, and as your mission statement notes, particularly in Kings County, also known as Breukelein. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't even know that would be an applause line, but I'm glad. Commonweal, for all of its 100 years, has been based in New York, particularly Manhattan, but that doesn't mean it's bereft of Brooklyn connections. A number of editors and staff members have resided there, including the editor standing here, for going on 35 years. Breukelein also has historically served as a refuge for the occasional Commonweal Catholic who runs into trouble in the Archdiocese of New York. This includes a Commonweal contributing writer named Father H.A. Reinhold, who in the 1930s wrote regularly both about the liturgy and his support for Spanish loyalists against Francisco Franco in our pages. He also spoke to striking workers at events hosted by Dorothy Day at the Catholic Worker House. And for this, the New York Chancery silenced Reinhold, prohibiting him from writing or speaking on anything at all, anywhere at all, in public in New York. Thankfully, Commonweal and Reinhold found a helpful ally in the person of Brooklyn Bishop Thomas Malloy, who provided a place for Reinhold to stay in Brooklyn and so to continue his work for Commonweal. As Commonweal's editor quipped at the time, the very fact that Reinhold was ill-treated in Manhattan was enough reason for him to be welcomed in Brooklyn. So I want to thank the Breukelein Institute again for their good works and for welcoming Commonweal to the ranks of all the Gaudium Award winners who've preceded us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think I ought to tell him your name. Oh. His name is Dominic Preziosi. I realized that I hadn't told you his name, but he is the editor, Dominic. I told this, the next honoree is Aaron Deal. I was in Tanglewood at a concert. I told Aaron this story earlier, and I didn't know the name. I didn't know who this person was. And my seats happened to be just below the keyboard, so I was able to watch his work. And I turned to the person I was with and I said, this guy should get a Gaudium. And here we are. Now, I wanted you to see Aaron at work. And the way that you're going to see this now, could you make sure the door is open there? Because I think sometimes our media person can't hear me. Okay. Okay. So this is 3 minutes and 20, I did the editing, 3 minutes and 27 seconds of Aaron playing with a previous honoree, the great pianist Bill Charlap. So I'll say more about that after you see this clip. And serendipitously enough, I have a letter from Bill Charlap. He writes, "When I first met Aaron Deal, he was still a student at the Juilliard School. I was immediately struck by the intensity of his focus. His obvious talent was palpable, and I knew I was meeting a major force in the future of the music. He has gone on to become an elegant, thoughtful, and ever-evolving artist, a major pianist, and an original musical thinker. Deal is most deserving of this prestigious award, and I am proud to call him my colleague and my friend." Aaron Deal.
I'm not really quite sure what to say other than thank you. Very humbled and honored to be here this evening. And I really would like to dedicate this award to two people. First, Mary Lou Williams. If you haven't heard that name, look her up. And then second, her manager, who I knew, was also a Jesuit priest named Father Peter O'Brien. And I'll just talk briefly about them. First of all, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and my parents and my grandparents took me to church. It was a Catholic church, predominantly African American. And my grandfather was a jazz musician, but he also sang in the choir. And always had a fascination with jazz, but I never knew any jazz musicians who played in the church, like played jazz music in the church. That was sort of like verboten, like at least when I was growing up, right? And I later discovered Mary Lou Williams through Father Peter O'Brien. I was playing at a church in Harlem, St. Joseph of the Holy Family on 125th and Morningside. And I met Father O'Brien at Juilliard around 2004. So when I started playing at St. Joseph's a few years later, he was a guest presider. And he said, "I remember you, Aaron, and I don't know if you knew, but Mary Lou Williams, who was a great jazz composer, pianist, wonderful musician, really sort of a matriarch of sorts in the jazz lineage. She wrote sacred music. She converted to Catholicism in 1954, I believe, along with Dizzy Gillespie's wife, and she spent a good portion of her later years writing music for the church. She had a small charitable organization called the Bel Canto Foundation, where she provided assistance to many musicians, especially who were down on their luck or who faced substance abuse. And she was an incredible human being and woman. And I have to really thank Father O'Brien for introducing me to Mary Lou Williams and what she represented. And I'll just close by saying, Ms. Akers mentioned earlier so eloquently that music is a form of hope and resistance, but I want to just add to this in saying that it also is a form of service. So I thank you so much.
I hope you get a chance to see him play in person. It's just terrific. Although we're obviously honoring the Hill Museum, we are honoring its executive director and Father Columba. And I'm stalling for time because the wonderful letter of tribute that he is about to receive, I've misplaced. But not for long. I have to give credit to Father's staff who directed me to this person. This name means something to him, but probably not a great deal to most of us. His name is John Parrish Peed. You'll see who he is as I read this. Father Columba's kind face and warm smile radiated a peaceful welcome to friend and stranger alike. I was such a stranger 5 years ago. We met in Washington, D.C., where I was the chairman of the National Endowment for the Humanities. And he was a guarantee as the Hill Library Director and as a 2-time NEH Research Fellow for works on early monasticism. I soon learned that he is a joyful person with a thirst for sharing, preserving, and illuminating knowledge. The Atlantic magazine called Father Columba the monk who saves manuscripts from ISIS in a feature story, but I must say in our interactions, he always gave credit to the Benedictine order, to his St. John's colleagues and their international partners, including Islamic clerics. In 2019, I invited him to deliver the Jefferson Lecture. It is the highest honor that the federal government bestows on a distinguished intellectual achievement by any person in the humanities. In his clear, quiet voice, Father Columba explained to a rapt audience the Benedictine tradition as a means of listening to the wisdom of past cultures. Speaking of global affairs, he made a compelling case that, quote, mutual understanding is the only possible basis for reconciliation and for the resolve to move forward for the common good. At the conclusion, the crowd of more than 1,000 people stood and rose in a standing ovation. A year later, I approved a $1.4 million in federal funding to support the Hill Library's catalog of ancient Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, and Islamic works. It is important to affirm those organizations, including the Hill Library and the Breukelein Institute, that are stepping out in faith to do good in a world that desperately needs it. To create a work of art or music or writing is to reach toward the hand of God. We do not think of conservators in the same way as we do creators, but we consider their importance for a moment. For the generation yet to be born, conserving culture is as important as creating it, because otherwise it would cease to exist. I am not calling conservation and creation equal, but I am saying that the divine hand is often at work in the lives of those devoted to both practices. Father Columba is not a saint. I wish I knew you better so that I could say that without laughing. Father Columba is not a saint. He's a servant with a noble role. He is long past the days when he was in search of a calling, but one needs only to look at how he occupies his hours to know that he is forever a seeker. Our world is better because of his search and his devotion. Signed, the Honorable John Parrish Peed. Father, come accept your word.
You heard from me earlier explaining why what we do is important, so I won't repeat any of that. I would just observe that Tommy Toon and I are both graduates of Mirabeau Bonaparte Lamar High School in Houston, Texas. And I just noticed, probably thanks to one of our communications people, that I am now on the list of notable alumni along with Tommy Toon in the Wikipedia article. Should you ever find yourself in my office, where I am sometimes between the international work, you will notice the screensaver of my computer is a list of dates and places. And those dates and places are the areas where we have worked over the last 20 years of my directorship, which found themselves convulsed in conflict. The latest one, of course, is Israel and Gaza, but it goes all the way back to Iraq in 2003, Lebanon and Israel in 2006, the Syrian civil war, the rise of ISIS in Iraq, the civil war in Ethiopia, the collapse in Mali. This is a story that continues. The real heroes, of course, are those who do what they can amidst such conflict and strife to preserve their own heritage. And it is our honor to work alongside them. So I thank you very much for putting me in such distinguished company, and check us out. Thank you.
I guess this is what you call the denouement for this evening as we start to bring the evening to a close. Once again, just a reminder, we know that many of you have already been very generous, but it's your generosity that makes all of this work. So your generosity and your donations do make a great difference. We have so many people to be grateful for tonight, including our patrons, whose names you'll see in the program. We can't thank them enough. In addition, the generosity of the Board of Directors of the Breukelein Institute, the Gaudium Committee, Connor Thompson and Patrick Rousseau, our video and sound producers, Michael's Floral Design here on East 85th Street in Manhattan, Tara Sutherland, Omar Diaz, and Aaron Burke of the Lotus Club. And I didn't mention it before, but I've been honored with being added to the board of the Breukelein Institute. So I want to congratulate and thank my fellow board member, Carrie Charles, who gives new meaning to paparazzi. She did great, great work. So thank you again, and great, you're great. And I will return it once again to Dennis for the coda.
The Father is going to lead us in a benediction, and he was kind enough to agree to do that. Thanks so much. It seems almost farcical to say this has been a difficult year, but it has. So thanks.
Because we were blessed before the meal with the great ancient Hebrew prayer of benediction, I was asked to offer some of the other great Christian languages to close. So the Catholics of a certain generation remember Kyrie eleison, so the Greek for Lord have mercy, the Latin Domine miserere, and the Arabic Ya Allah Raham, Ya Allah Raham, Ya Allah Raham, which Christians who speak Arabic as their native language, as indeed so many Jews did in the Middle East, until recently when they were forced to leave their ancestral homelands, did. These are all great international, interreligious languages. Let us be mindful of those peoples as we pray. Lord God, we give you thanks for the great works you have done among us. Bless those whose creativity, passion, and devoted service glorify you in a world too often torn by conflict and division. May our prayers here be as one, as we bless your holy name and bring your love and your joy, your Gaudium, to those we meet. We make this prayer, as always, in your name. Amen.
night, everyone.